A desperate father sits in a Liverpool office, signing away his home, land, and over £1 million, not to settle a debt, but to save his son's life. On the other side of the deal is Vincent Cogins, the ruthless leader of the Heighton Firm, a man whose empire thrived on fear, violence, and control. While the father prays the nightmare is over, Cogins secretly plans to strike again, vowing, "I'll kill them in a few months when it's all calmed down." This is the chilling true story of how a single act of betrayal unraveled one of Britain's most feared criminal organisations. Throughout the late 1990s and 2000s, the Heighton Firm cemented its position as one of Liverpool's most dominant and feared criminal organisations. Their rise was marked by a brutal enforcement strategy that included the use of extreme violence. Firearms and grenades became their tools of choice, employed not only to maintain control over their operations, but also to eliminate rival gangs. This relentless brutality reinforced their reputation and helped suppress challenges to their dominance in Liverpool's criminal underworld. The gang's ability to evade law enforcement was bolstered by their connections to corrupt insiders within the police force. These individuals provided the Heighton Firm with access to sensitive information from police databases, including ongoing investigations and planned operations. With this insider knowledge, the gang could preemptively adjust their activities, further enabling them to operate with near impunity. This level of infiltration into law enforcement systems showcased the group's sophistication and determination to maintain their criminal empire. A key element of the Heighton Firm's operations was their reliance on technology to ensure secrecy. The gang extensively used EncroChat, an encrypted messaging service widely regarded as impenetrable. This platform allowed them to communicate about illicit activities, including large-scale drug deals and violent attacks, without fear of being monitored. EncroChat became an essential tool for coordinating their operations across the UK and Europe, keeping law enforcement at bay for years. However, the gang's sense of security was shattered in 2020 when French authorities achieved an unprecedented breakthrough. They successfully hacked the EncroChat platform, granting British law enforcement access to thousands of encrypted messages. Unbeknownst to the Heighton Firm and other organised crime groups, their every move was being monitored in real time. The messages revealed detailed evidence of the gang's criminal activities, exposing the inner workings of their operations. The Heighton Firm, primarily led by Vincent Cogins alongside his brother Francis, was founded in the 1990s. The two secretive brothers from the Heighton area of Liverpool, Vincent and Francis Cogins, established the notorious criminal organisation known as the Heighton Firm, also referred to as the Cantrell Farm cartel. This organised crime group quickly became infamous in the Merseyside area and beyond for its involvement in large-scale drug trafficking, blackmail, and violent criminal activities. Operating with a strategic precision, the brothers capitalised on the decline of other dominant Liverpool-based gangs, such as those led by Curtis Warren and Colin Smigger Smith, whose arrests and deaths created a significant power vacuum in the region's underworld. Vincent and Francis Cogins were known for their meticulous planning and the strict hierarchy within their organisation. By leveraging their network of associates, they managed to maintain a grip on their territory while simultaneously expanding their operations. This approach not only allowed them to grow their empire, but also helped in intimidating rivals and consolidating their control over the region's drug trade. Their reputation for enforcing discipline within their ranks contributed to the gang's feared status, remained heavily entrenched in drug trafficking, while also engaging in blackmail, extortion, and violent attacks. The gang's notoriety only deepened following a high-profile incident in May 2020. On May 23rd, a stash house on Croxdale Road in West Derby was raided by 4 masked men who attacked the homeowner and fled with 30 kilograms of cocaine valued at over £1 million. This brazen robbery set off a chain of events that showcased the gang's capacity for ruthless retribution and intricate plotting. Determined to avenge the raid, Vincent Cogins swiftly instructed his associates to identify those responsible. His resolve was so strong that he even requested hand grenades, referred to as pineapples, to exact revenge. Within hours, the firm acquired CCTV footage of the robbery, provided by Thomas Cashman, a hitman later convicted for the tragic killing of 9-year-old Olivia Pratt-Corbell in 2022. Using the footage, the gang identified 3 suspects: Maxwell Jr., Michael Eves, and Bosa Igbenovia. Vincent, operating under the EncroChat handle Moonlit Boat, collaborated with trusted associates to plan the attacks. Edward Jarvis, Softherb, Michael Earl, Bladehedge, and Paul Woodford, King Wasp, played key roles in the conspiracy. Their communications revealed a carefully coordinated effort to locate and eliminate the identified targets. However, unbeknownst to the gang, European law enforcement had hacked EncroChat weeks earlier in April 2020, monitoring their activities in real time. This surveillance allowed authorities to intercept plans and issue formal Osman warnings to the Maxwells on May 27th, indicating a genuine and imminent threat to their lives. Faced with the warning, Maxwell Jr. took the threat seriously and scrambled to arm himself. Using his EncroChat handles Medium Rose and Dior Note, he sought weapons for self-defense, including an AR-15 semi-automatic rifle and an AK-47. In messages to his father, who operated under the handle Retired Vermouth, Maxwell Jr. admitted carrying a machete and expressed his readiness to act decisively against the Cogins gang if necessary. His apprehension proved justified as Vincent continued to push for immediate action. Despite evidence suggesting Maxwell Jr.'s innocence in the raid, Vincent's relentless pursuit of vengeance led him to demand that Earl procure a grenade, intending to carry out the attack without delay. Paul Woodford, another trusted associate, offered to acquire firearms and ammunition on Vincent's behalf. Despite advice to reconsider the timeline or allow for further investigation, Vincent dismissed these cautions. His message to Earl was unyielding. "No mate, tonight. Now it's got to be done. We don't mess round." This uncompromising stance underscored the gang's notorious reputation for swift and unrelenting violence. Ultimately, the operation was stalled when the delivery of the grenade failed, temporarily delaying the planned attack. However, the intercepted communications provided law enforcement with a comprehensive view of the gang's plans and internal dynamics. The EncroChat hack not only disrupted their immediate retaliation, but also exposed the extent of their criminal activities, significantly weakening their ability to operate under the radar. Recognizing the grave danger his son faced, Maxwell Sr. took decisive action to try and de-escalate the situation. Aware that his son was not responsible for the raid, but understanding the severity of the threat, Maxwell Sr. proposed a desperate solution. He reached out to a middleman, whose identity remains protected due to ongoing reporting restrictions, to negotiate with the gang. In a message to the intermediary, he expressed his willingness to sacrifice his own assets for his son's safety, stating, "Me solution involves me, and me alone paying the bill, therefore it's me that's been robbed. I'd rather have him than the money." He acknowledged the high stakes, adding, "Any money I've got means F all if he dead." Maxwell Sr. offered a staggering settlement in hopes of calming down the tension between Vincent Cogins and his gang. The deal amounted to approximately £1,360,000, comprising a mix of cash and the proceeds from the sale of land and a house. For Vincent, this substantial payment was sufficient to pause immediate retaliation. The offer was accepted, and assurances were made that Maxwell Jr. and his family would no longer be targeted by the gang. Despite these assurances, Vincent's true intentions quickly became evident. In private communications with his enforcer, Paul Woodford, Vincent revealed his ultimate plan to settle scores at a later time. "I'll kill them in few months when it's all calmed down. Very stressful week. Need a little break. Then I come back," he wrote. This chilling message underscored the ruthless and calculating nature of his leadership, where promises of safety could easily be discarded once the heat subsided. Paul Woodford, loyal to the gang's cause, readily agreed to assist in the future attacks. The pair's continued plotting highlighted the dangerous reality of dealing with a group as volatile and merciless as the Heighton Firm. While the immediate threat appeared to be neutralized, the underlying menace remained, with Vincent planning to exact his version of justice when the opportunity arose. Before moving on, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like this video to stay updated on the latest true crime cases. Your support helps us uncover and share these gripping stories. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. On June 3, 2020, Maxwell Sr. finalized the desperate deal to secure his son's safety. He signed over the agreed sum of money, land and property during a meeting at an office on Stanley Street in Liverpool. According to land registry records, a charge amounting to £600,000 was placed on property at 2 Stockwell Road, Widnes, in favour of 2 companies tied to Vincent Cogins. For the time being, this transaction appeared to resolve the immediate threat against Maxwell Jr.'s life. However, Unknown to the gang, their downfall was imminent. Just 10 days later, on June 13th, EncroChat administrators issued a stark warning to their users. A message was sent across the platform, revealing that the system had been compromised and advising users to power down and physically destroy their devices. This revelation sent shockwaves through criminal networks worldwide, including the Heighton Firm, who had heavily relied on the encrypted service for their operations. On June 16th, before the gang could carry out their threats, police arrested Vincent Cogins, Paul Woodford, Michael Earl, and Edward Jarvis. Their arrests were the result of extensive surveillance and the overwhelming evidence extracted from EncroChat. Cornered by the volume of incriminating messages, Vincent Cogins pleaded guilty to conspiracy to supply Class A drugs and conspiracy to commit blackmail. He was sentenced to 28 years in prison, marking the end of his reign in Liverpool's criminal underworld. The arrests extended to several other key members of the Heighton Firm. Paul Woodford, based in Mile Road, Kirkby, and Michael Earl of Wallace Drive, Heighton, also pleaded guilty to similar charges. Woodford was sentenced to 24.5 years, while Earl received 11 years. The crackdown on the gang revealed the breadth of its operations, with numerous associates facing lengthy prison terms for their roles in drug trafficking and related crimes. Among them was Kevin Rimmer of Blacklow Brow, Heighton, who admitted to conspiracy to supply heroin and received a 16-year sentence. Paul Glynn of Croxdale Road West, West Derby, pleaded guilty to conspiracy to supply cocaine and was sentenced to 11 years and 2 months. Others, including Dean Borrows, Darren Tierney, and Paul Fitzsimmons, were convicted of conspiracy to supply both cocaine and heroin, receiving sentences of 14 years and 3 months, 12 years and 9 months, and 12.5 years respectively. On October 4th, 2024, Edward Jarvis of Breckside Park in Anfield was found guilty of conspiracy to supply Class A drugs and conspiracy to commit blackmail. His role in the Heighton Firm's illicit activities earned him a 25-year prison sentence. The dismantling of the Heighton Firm marked a significant victory for law enforcement, bringing an end to a reign of violence and criminal enterprise that had spanned decades. What are your thoughts on Vincent Cogins and the Heighton Firm's reign over Liverpool's criminal underworld? Do you think the sentences handed down to Cogins and his associates were enough to bring justice to their victims? And how do you feel about the role EncroChat played in exposing their operation? Share your thoughts in the comments below.